Hey guys, this is going to be a Gemini reading. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm just going to shuffle and we're going to see where we're at. Please use your intuition to discern whether or not a reading is for you. Keep in mind that energies that are masculine or feminine are not necessarily physical, okay? They're energies. So I want to go ahead and get right into this reading. We have lay a solid foundation. Okay. And now is a lucky time with Rabbit Spirit. Okay. So we're definitely opening the door. I believe what I'm feeling here is that a new value, a new attribute, a new quality in your manifestations within your being has been adopted, implemented, and now your manifestations are changing in the sense that you're building. In addition to all the work you've done, you're now building with this new ingredient moving forward in what you create. And so perhaps we're encountering fear, perhaps we're encountering the feeling that we feel on our own, but that's not true. It's a temporary feeling. Okay. So love is all around us and we are never alone with otter spirit and nightingale spirit. Okay. It may be painful to feel the feelings of what was because it kind of worked for us in a lot of ways. And so spirit's providing us with things that really work for us. And I kind of want to say this because I'm feeling it's necessary. Changes in our nature. So that's something really big. And I kind of want to bring that, yeah. I kind of want to bring that into this reading. So we do have the energy of play, and under that we have the energy of turkey, which I'm not going to get into that because right now I'm not sure that applies. But we also have wild boar. Wild boar is about confrontation, but it can also be about confidence. So I'm not encouraging confrontation here. That's not what I'm about. But I am encouraging being sure of yourself, feeling secure, not being afraid to meet challenges head on because you're going to succeed. Work on your mindset, work on your ability, work on being okay with getting up and brushing yourself off. Yeah. And there's something here with loyalty because loyalty came up in this deck, but I ignored it because I hadn't fully shuffled yet. But there's something here with loyalty. There's some kind of transition that occurred here with that. Perhaps we integrated a sense of loyalty as very important. One of the qualities that we really raised the importance on. So perhaps that's something here with that. Can I ask what quality was integrated? Okay, we're going through a change. Yeah, see, determination. So Wild Boar is saying determination. Perhaps when big energetic shifts happen, or even not necessarily big shifts happen, but certain energetic shifts that the universe changes what we manifest in the physical, we might feel the energy of that and go into a little bit of a shock. Maybe even some grief will come up. Maybe fear. We might feel alone. We might feel like things are vacant. But stay committed to the energy and work through where you're at. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of bore confidence. There we go. Look, we keep getting bore. There's something here with being determined, having confidence, getting through it. There's something really big here with that. Hmm. Yeah, I'm really liking this as far as this probably doesn't feel good because in transitions like these it usually doesn't feel good. Not until later. Like later might be tomorrow, it might be 8 hours. Later might be, whatever that looks like. Can I ask what is manifesting for Gemini? Transformation. Okay, so there we go. We got it again. We got frog in this deck is transformation, and now we have butterfly. So that's more transformation. I wanted to ask what was building that we're transforming, like why this is happening, why it needs to be so drastic, um, why there's something so big here, and perhaps what it's leading to. So I can keep asking. Let's see what I have. Let's see what comes up. No, this one. Freedom is yours. Freedom from what? And you keep getting this at the bottom. Trust in the magic. Let's give a look to White Raven Spirit, number 66. Nothing in the universe is random. The intricate web of co creation weaves together all events and has done so since the beginning of time. Coincidences have meaning, and White Raven Spirit appears to remind you to pay attention to synchronicities so that you might recognize patterns in your own life. Even the winds dance in a pattern, participating in the magic of Spirit's plan for all. Align with the highest good and intentions, and you will come to see that White Raven is guiding you, an ally to you, and a messenger from Spirit. Align yourself with the light, and you will start to recognize that all is working together harmoniously in ways that you can't always see and that the mind doesn't always understand. The universe is working on your behalf right now, drawing you to the light and bringing you the magic and miracles that are your birthright. Now is the time to trust in the magic of the world that is everywhere and in all things. Pay attention to how things come together, as if by magic, and you will see the hand of Great Spirit arranging things in your favor. This is. The reading gives me a little bit of like, oh, this is like a just, little transformation, but I don't feel that way. This feels big. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why this feels big, but it does. This one. Okay, intuition. Okay, we might be fighting some energies. So do your best to release unconditionally and have faith. Faith is big here. Confidence, faith is really big here. Those are the two big things, and I probably will put that in the title of this reading because we're in a place right now where we're feeling vulnerable in the dark, alone, disconnected, without. We might be feeling all of that. You're going to have choices to make, and each of them is going to bring plenty of things. So you just choose by what feels right for you, what works for you, what works out. You know, can I ask what this choice card is? Interesting. That came up in Leo's reading. Okay, there's some kind of expansion here as far as your abundance. There's something here with your boundaries and your self-worth and your self-love and how that intricately connects with all things. There's something here with that. Leo's message, even though Leo got this card, I'm not going to focus too much on that because it's really the only card that came through here that's the same. But there's something here about being true to yourself, speaking your truth, and knowing and understanding where you're coming from. So that's really being aware of your intentions and setting them and doing your best to come from that place and make decisions from that place. You're actually doing really well on that front. And that's probably why this transition happened, because of this. Um, you're gonna be running the show in your own life here, or at least in some area of your life, you're gonna be running the show, and you're gonna be the main character in your own life, as it were. Sometimes we just don't want to take the reins in certain things, right? Because if we put our ego aside, leaders like sometimes we don't, a lot of us don't need to be at the front, like driving the bus for us to get where we want. In this case, it feels like for you, that's what's right. It needs to be this way for you. It just does. Yeah. Um, it just does. There it is. Success. So we also have chicken. Well, there's a rooster and the sunflower. And I'm going to read this to you. So this is about communication, but when I read this to you, you're going to be like, oh, okay. And remember, just because you're leading doesn't mean it's all like, keep your ego in check, is what I want to say briefly. Okay. Rooster and sunflower. You are well suited to positions of authority. Remember that clear and open communication is key to successful leadership. And what do we have here? Chipmunk, success. Chipmunk and laurel. Oh my god, this is so funny. This is the card of the good leader and the kind king. Roosters wake before the rest of the farm, alerting everyone to the rising sun. They are protective of their territory and are self confident. But they are also good communicators, honest and capable. The sunflower is often the tallest bloom in the garden, rising high and turning its face toward the sun. While it may hover over other flowers, It bestows warmth and joy on any garden. So just because leader doesn't mean we step on. It's like we're driving the bus, but there's also a sense of responsibility there, for everybody. So let's be mindful of that. There are certain energetic qualities here to that, and I kind of wanted to bring that in. So if you're going to get abundance where those qualities need to be considered, that's a very high skill level. So you perhaps want to take that slow. That's a high skill level. So be remember your humility, remember that, and try your best to, when working with others, just be really good about your communication. And you don't normally need to check your aggression, but perhaps check your aggression. Okay, I don't want to go down that road too much because that's not necessarily the purpose of this reading. I kind of want to tie this up. I'm trying to keep these shorter. There's something here with conflict energy or managing conflict or managing what people want and what we want. It's not necessarily conflict. It's like, what do you want? Okay. What do I want? Okay. How do we make this work? Can you clarify this, please? Can you clarify this, please? Clarify that. The energy here is not really formed yet, so we're not quite sure, but you are being protected. Your desires, your abundance, they're being protected. There's just, look at that. At the bottom of the deck, I had skunk, which is about protection in this deck, and then we had deceit. So you're protected here from manipulation, etc., etc., etc. There's a big deal here. So you are guarded. The energy that you're coming from and the energy that you fostered and cultivated within yourself has brought change to the energies that people are going to offer you when they interact with you. That's the best way I can say it, perhaps. Yeah, you got protection again. That's wild. Okay, yeah. Your alignment with your inner being has offered you a great amount of protection, but there's also an asking here for patience. Spirit needs to work some things out here. This is behind the scenes stuff, really complicated. This is not for you to fix. You already drove the car to the parking lot. Let Spirit do the rest. Yeah, there's something here. Spirit's ironing out some kinks and getting peace in your environment, working things out that need to be worked out to make this possible. They're also, I'm feeling this pretty clearly, they're making space for you. Different situations, different people are making space for you. You're also going to need to make space for them, but space is being made for you big time here. Yeah, I'm getting some big changes here. I will say this though, this is something I felt a few minutes ago. Your responsibility here is going to increase a lot. This is a high level of responsibility. It's actually a high degree of conscientiousness, empathy, and I don't want to say ethics per se, but maybe you could look at it that way. I don't even know if it's that. It's about there's a really strong emphasis on love as far as like how we love others, how we show up, how we treat people, how we treat ourselves, how we do certain things. There's a really powerful emphasis on that here. And perhaps the love you've shown others and yourself and the way you've shown up has offered you a serious amount of protection here. I'm getting there people kind of need to speak their mind around you. They'll need to in these situations to make themselves clear, their intentions. Um, and also, there's something really big here about freedom. So, things that are really, maybe not every single thing, but things that are energies and qualities that are really important to you are going to manifest in situations where perhaps they wouldn't have manifested otherwise. Okay? So, exceptions could be made, but so will concessions be made, perhaps on your behalf. in the form of adaptability, in the form of flexibility, in the form of making it work, in the form of, I wouldn't have considered this situation in another circumstance, but because of what's being offered and because of how it works for me, now, yes. There's something here with that. Yeah, there's something here with that. You're gonna have time to work this through. You're gonna have time to think about it. You're gonna have time to decide. You're gonna have time to I don't want to say the decisions are gonna be hard. That's not it. Perhaps we're in a state of comfort, in a state where we're really comfortable where things are, and we wanted things to expand without having to change certain things. There might be some degree of change that you might be asked of, and you would have to consent to it for it to happen. So that's up to you. I don't want to get so detailed in these readings that it lasts 30, 40 minutes. Um, but you don't need to worry. Try not to worry about this mentally. You need to do things by feel. Okay? Your intuition, your heart is going to guide you to exactly what you need. And try not to think of this as fatalistic, because what you agree to is going to change, and then later on it's going to change again, and then after that it's going to change again. So don't, there's not wrong or right. What it is what feels good to me now. Okay, great. And then later down the road, boom, it changes. Later down the road, boom, it changes. Then it expands and it changes again. So this is a very dynamic, very creative way to go about things. I do want to wrap this up. I want to get an advice card, but I'm not really sure the best deck to pull this from. Let's do this one. You are going to get your heart's desire. You will. You will. And it's going to feel good. And I'm not seeing any problems here. There is some healing involved here as well. I'm not quite sure why. Why is there healing here, please? Why is there healing? Can you offer me anything about that that would be helpful? This one. Oh, how interesting. We have a lot of water cards here and air cards. There's a lot of blue in these decks, but there's also like letting go of control, seeing yourself clearly. And not just seeing yourself clearly like, oh, look at all the flaws. It's actually like, look at all the strengths and look at where you come from and look at your intentions and look how much you do. And then there's also this is a learning card, but this is saying you're going to expand your skill set, your skill sets. This is a great expansion here. This is a very, very, very abundant, expansive energy you're moving into. This is really big. This could last years upon years, and that's great because it's soul growth. It's soul growth, it's life growth, it's everything. This is really good. I really like this. When a change, it's interesting because initially when I did the reading, the changes seem small, but on the inside, the changes are huge. So perhaps you really have deepened the relationship with yourself and you've really enriched your inner world and done some serious, serious consciousness growth, which is powerful and incredible. And perhaps it's much bigger underneath the surface than it looks on the outside. But you are being asked to have faith. Yeah. And, mm, mm. I'm not gonna go too much into detail because there's a lot here. There's a lot. I'm just gonna give you the skinny. Wisdom. Okay, so we have owl here. Wisdom. Alligator is about taking situations and trying to work through them slowly. Owl is about seeing things clearly, coming from a place of deep knowing, and working with that. Let me look at owl in this deck. Can I get a clarifier for owl? Yeah, your abundance is gonna really change in a really powerful way. A very powerful way. Yeah. I'm getting a lot of intuition cards. Mm-hmm. We got squirrel here and chestnut, which is about being prepared. Or preparing. This card. Oh my god. We got owl again. I felt so strongly about it. It's wisdom in both decks. We got owl twice. Look how powerful that is. I love that. That means like we're really on the energy cord. Like we're in the flow. Let's look at owl. Mr. Owl, guide us, please. And I want to say you're really protected. You're really protected. Big time. That's probably the biggest energy in this whole reading. Wisdom. I don't necessarily want to read the upright meaning of this wisdom card because I think the reversed and the upright meaning have their place. So I'm going to read this to you and you take from it what you will, okay? You've come to the end of a long journey. Relish in your achievement, for you have achieved much. Take deep, satisfying breaths. On the other hand, we may also be burdened by feelings of regret or feeling unfulfilled. Reflect on your past successes and think practically about your current goals. Even a towering hop vine climbs one small step at a time. You've climbed many steps, viewer. Many, many steps. A lot of steps. Let's just say that. This was a big achievement. You didn't even know you were working on something internally, but you you achieved it in a really thorough way. Like it's airtight, it's solid. You finished all the extracurricular material. You did great, and I'm very proud of you. Yeah, there's something here about wisdom here is about people being sincere and on the up and up. People saying where they're coming from, being authentic. There's something really powerful here with that. It's like you know what you're getting, you know where people are coming from, and there's really important energy here about being heartfelt. So perhaps you are heartfelt, even if what you say is like you're saying it in a loving way, but it's sometimes hard to hear, you know? Like not I'm not saying that in a predatory way, like oh, I'm being, I'm telling you what you need to hear and I'm being nice about it. You should thank me. No, it's not like that. This is maybe sharing that you had a hard something that was hard for you to accept that you thought about yourself or something that you thought of that you were like, "Damn, that's not loving." And I thought that. It's things like that. So others may offer that and you may offer that. There's a lot of authenticity here. And in order to do that, in order to manifest that energy from yourself and from others, you really need to step into an aspect of unconditional love that's very powerful. And it doesn't come from a place of blame, it comes from a love for humanity. The difference is be careful. Yes, we need love for humanity. Yes, accepting other people's imperfections is important, but there are limits. And with time you will learn where they need to be, where they don't need to be, or when they need to come up and when we need to work with what's there. Okay, so that's a whole thing for another reading. If owl is your personal medicine about what they're if owl is your personal medicine at this time, perhaps it will be hard for others to deceive you about what they're doing or why, no matter how hard they try to disguise it. You might be a little bit frightening to be around, since so many people have their own motives which you see right through. If you are unaware of your medicine power, you may take your keen insights and abilities for granted. Do not take this for granted. This is strong. You might reflect things about people within themselves just by being you, and that could bring pain, for them. If they're really aware, they're gonna be like, okay, wow, I have an issue with this, or maybe they might need time. I be delicate with this energy. Not everyone can handle this all the time, and it's not about them being good people or bad people. It's just a lot for some people. Okay. Yeah, that's all I'm getting from Owl. Maybe that's the reason why there's so much protection, or it's just part of it. Because I feel like some of the medicine about Owl in this deck is about loving the parts of you that need love the most. So parts that are maybe hard to love, or things about ourselves that are wounds, or perhaps we perceive them as weaknesses, or perhaps we see them as kind of darkness, right? But we love them and we say, okay, I'm going to make space for you and let's work on this. So that's a very powerful unconditional love. And if you're offering that to yourself and you've also been offering that to others, this is huge. This might be a really big part of the manifestation that's coming in. So, this, I perceive that the universe loves, part of how the universe loves is includes this. So, that's very powerful. So, you're going to definitely do well. There's definitely a lot of qualities to the abundance that are not just physical. And so, this is very powerful, and I'm very proud of you. I'm going to end the reading here. We can look at this later. You've done great work. This is a really hard medicine to hold, and you're doing so well. So I want to say thank you for being here, and I hope you have a great week.